The 49th presidential election took place on November 4th, 1980. Wow, it's been a long time since I've done this, so let's see how President Jimmy Carter is doing. Well, not too good. You see, Jimmy Carter had to inherit some of Gerald Ford's problems, like inflation that reached up to 12%. And during Nixon's presidency, there was a war in the Middle East with Israel and its neighbors, and Nixon supported Israel, and Israel won its war. But the Arab states, pulling Hassan Piker, blamed the US and decided to make it the whole world's problem by blockading any oil going to anyone who was supporting Israel, which started a whole gas crisis. Okay, a minor setback, but you can't really blame him. But don't worry, Carter, you always have the Shah of Iran to back you up. Oh, never mind, he's been overthrown by this angry little man, and he's not really friendly towards the US. And in Tehran, a crowd of university students overtook the US embassy and took hostages, which began the Iran hostage crisis. Carter did everything to get the hostages back, diplomatic and economic pressure, but by the election, Carter failed to get them back. And going into the primaries, Carter faced off against the brother of John F. Kennedy, Ted Kennedy. Kennedy and Carter went neck and neck throughout the primaries, and Carter had to lock in if he wanted to get renominated, and he narrowly did so by 3 million delegate votes, and he was renominated alongside his vice president, Walter Mondale. But the Republican primaries were a three-way race, with George H.W. Bush, a congressman from Texas and the former CIA director, and John B. Anderson, a congressman from Illinois. But there was one person that made them both look like little schoolgirls, and that was preparing for this moment for a long time. The former governor of California, Ronald Reagan. Remember him from my 1976 election video? Reagan would go on to wipe the floor with Bush and Anderson, and Reagan got the nomination, and he picked Bush as his running mate. And they came up with a catchy slogan, "Let's make America great again." Wait a minute. I'm pretty sure I heard that slogan somewhere. Nah, I'm probably looking too deep into it. Anderson would go on to leave the Republican Party and run as an independent for president. And he argued that Carter was much too liberal and Reagan was much too conservative. Yep, he is the third party candidate, alright. Carter, all he did was basically attack Reagan for being too far to the left, but Reagan had a lot of ammo to attack Carter on, like the economy, the oil crisis, and the hostage crisis. In the first debate, it was Anderson and Reagan, and wait a minute. Wait, where's Carter at? Yeah, you see, Carter didn't really want a debate because Anderson was there. But in the second debate, Carter had no choice and debated Reagan, and Reagan's team probably had Carter's notes preparing for the debate.
Governor Reagan, as a matter of fact, began his political career campaigning around this nation against Medicare. Now we have an opportunity to move toward national health insurance with an emphasis on the prevention of disease, an emphasis on outpatient care, not inpatient care, an emphasis on hospital cost containment to hold down the cost of hospital care for those who are ill, an emphasis on catastrophic health insurance so that if a family is threatened with being wiped out economically because of a very high medical bill, then the insurance would help pay for it. These are the kind of elements of a national health insurance important to the American people. Governor Reagan, again, typically is against such a proposal.
Governor?
There you go again. When I opposed Medicare, there was another piece of legislation meeting the same problem before the Congress. I happened to favor the other piece of legislation and thought that it would be better for the senior citizens and provide better care than the one that was finally passed. I was not opposing the principle of providing care for them. I was opposing one piece of legislation as versus another.
But now we get to the part where you've been waiting for, the results. Drum roll, please. Reagan won 489 electoral votes and Jimmy Carter won 49 electoral votes. Reagan won 50.07% of the popular vote and Jimmy Carter won 41% of the popular vote. Ronald Reagan won, becoming the 40th President of the United States. And rest in peace, Jimmy Carter. May you rest with the angels, Mr. President. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe if you want to see me ramble about politics for the rest of the summer. And heck, maybe I'll get my friends to voice act in these videos again. Who knows? So you better like and subscribe, or I'll give your mom a little visit.